Prior service gets more preferred treatment throughout the OCS process. I'm gonna say that's a myth. Here's why. Because it's a lot of times when you go to OCS, it's gonna be 150, 140, 130 people that's gonna be in your class. So a lot of times it's gonna be the majority, like 60% are gonna be 60, maybe 70% are gonna be prior service, or it's never gonna be a case where it's gonna be the opposite. But it's gonna be a good mix of prior service and non-prior service people. Do all the people that are prior service get preferred treatment? Not at all. It's really the way you carry yourself that makes all the difference. I would say if it is prior service, I would say it's more like specifically drill sergeants that get more of the preferred treatment. But it's like I said, it's how they carry themselves, because they're kind of already accustomed to how things are kind of go, what it takes to be an upstanding soldier of high value and integrity. So they get a little more cachet, but it's the way they talk, their demeanor, how they kind of move around in certain situations, because they got strong familiarity. They've been to the board, they've been in front of cadre, they probably done briefs, they talk to people that are higher officials. So it's not because they are that much better than you, is that they're kind of already used to what's going on in the situation. I give an example with myself. I was originally in Charlie Company. I was there for only 4 weeks. So when I was in Charlie, things were kind of like my first time seeing it. So things were a little kind of fast paced. I was a little sloppy on certain things. But once I went to Delta, my whole demeanor just off those 4 weeks, I was totally a cool, calm, collected. Some things didn't surprise me. I was more like ready to hang on the challenges. I seen this before. Okay, now I know how to maneuver the situation. So I had a little different demeanor. In some cases, some people thought I was prior service, but I really wasn't. And some people have the same volume where you will think that they prior service been doing this for 5-10 years, but they just been in the army only for 6 months. Type deal. It's the way you carry yourself. So I wouldn't necessarily get preferred treatment. It's more that the people that do get preferred treatment, even if they act kind of crazy or rambunctious, they know what they're talking about. So that's what I would say. Because people that I seen with no experience, they did have preferred treatment where they was kind of put on that as a standard of how you need to go OCS. But it was more because they actually knew what they were talking about. People from SF, people that been in the Pentagon, people that are aligned with people that are in top government official ranking positions, like high GS positions. Like those people, like this way they carry themselves. They may not be as good as you as far as like prior service. You might look at them as weak, but they just know their stuff a little bit more than you at that time. But don't mean you can't get there and get that same treatment. But first impressions do matter, and how you carry yourself throughout the process kind of dictates if you get that sort of quote unquote preferred treatment. Plus, on top of that too, say if you get in trouble, for the most part, people that are in prior service know how to move around, the policies. They already know what to expect when it comes. It's not a surprise to them. So even though they might get in trouble, they may know how to get out of it based on technicality, as opposed to someone that never did it before. They're going to get slapped beside the head. They may get lucky, they may not get lucky, but you're not going to get treated with the same type of leniency. It's not because they got treated fairly. You just know how to say certain things to kind of get out the trouble, so you won't get the full ramifications of the situation. So yeah, it's a total myth that preferred do it. But do people get preferred treatment? Yes, because most of the time they know what they're talking about, not because they're prior service. They just happen to be prior service most of the time.